From Wisconsin, the ranking member on the Appropriations Committee, Mr. Obey.
The gentleman from Wisconsin, Mr. Obey.
Mr. Speaker, for weeks we've been wondering whether the Republican moderates were going to stick to their guns when they said that they knew that it was wrong to pass a budget that provided $40 billion in tax cuts for people who make $1 million a year while you're squeezing the guts out of education and health programs. We now know the answer. They're doing a poor imitation of Bert Lahr, the cowardly lion in The Wizard of Oz. I wish Bert were here. He'd cry at their performance. The fact is, they are now selling out for a promise that if sometime in the deep, dark, distant future somebody does something to change this budget resolution, then there might be a table scrap or two left for additional education and health care. There's about as much chance of that happening as there is of the Chicago Cubs winning the pennant this year. With respect to what the gentleman from Florida said on education, the fact is the Congress promised the states that on special education we would pay for 40% of the cost. Each year for the last 3 years, the federal share of the cost of special education has been cut by budgets that you have voted for. And you talked about Pell Grants. The fact is it costs $3,400 more to go to a 4-year public college today than it did 5 years ago. The president wanted to solve that by adding $100 to the Pell Grant program. House Republicans said, no, that was too much. You cut it to $50, and then when you sent it to the Senate, you cut out the rest of the $50. So in 5 years, you haven't done whit to make it easier for people to go to college by increasing the Pell Grants. So don't give us your crocodile tears, and don't brag, incidentally, about how much you've increased education for the last 6 years, because there's $16 billion in the education budget today that wouldn't be there if we hadn't dragged you kicking and screaming into supporting labor health budgets that in the end were higher than the original House Republican budgets. So I don't mind if the gentleman wants to live in the land of Oz, just don't take us there with you.
Gentleman's time is